You're listening to the Mid-Career GPS Podcast, episode 106. Okay, just between you and me, when was the last time you got nervous? We get nervous because we care, and there is a reason why you care so much. Maybe you were playing a sport, a game, having a conversation with someone, delivering a presentation, asking for a raise, going on an interview, applying for a job. The list goes on and on. Every day, someone reaches out to me or I see a post about how to control their nerves or overcome their fear in a job search. As mid-career professionals, you may have been out of the game for a while, and you may feel a little rusty about how to conduct your job search or how to best leverage yourself in the marketplace. Today, I've got a few tips for you to help you manage these emotions so you can step on the gas and get your job search moving in the right direction. This is the Mid-Career GPS Podcast, and I'm your host, John Nerrill. I help mid-career professionals who are feeling undervalued and underutilized show up to find a job they love or love the job they have using my proven 4-step formula. It's time to start building your mid-career GPS, so let's get started. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I hope you all had a happy and safe 4th of July. At this time of year, it always dawns on me that we are more than halfway over with 2022. It is crazy to think about how quickly time is flying by. And you might be wondering why you haven't made as much progress as you'd like on your job search, your leadership position, or whatever career goals you have. Look, don't beat yourself up. There is still plenty of time left to achieve those goals and even more that you want to set for the rest of the year. Now, if you're serious about getting some help, I have a few spots open for one-on-one coaching this summer. You can visit johnnerrill.com or click on the link in the show notes. But right there on my homepage, you'll see a tab in the upper right corner that says Contact. Just click on that tab and you'll see a form. Fill out that form. And you and I will schedule an initial call just to see if coaching is the right fit for you and have that initial conversation. So now is a great time for you to start building your mid-career GPS. And I love to be able to help you achieve those goals or get wherever you are trying to go on your leadership and career journey. So you can visit johnnerrill.com for more information. And I look forward to talking with you really soon. Now, today's episode topic falls in the first stage of building your mid-career GPS, and that is the preparation phase. You must spend time examining your thoughts and beliefs about how valuable you are in the marketplace in order to get the success you want. This isn't about lying to yourself. This is about taking an accurate assessment of everything that's going on with you. Everything starts with your mindset, and this stage cannot be overlooked. I will see requests on LinkedIn or people will reach out to me and they'll say, I'm having trouble with my interviews. I'm not getting enough traction with my resume. Yes, those are tangible data points that are holding you back from getting the results you want. But if we don't take a moment to examine the mindset and what's there, we're missing something. When I'm working with clients one-on-one, I use 2 assessments to help them uncover and unlock some of their issues or concerns that they have about overcoming their fear in the job search. And when it comes to finding that next job, or even what we would describe now as that perfect job for you, how easy do you think it's going to be? Current market trends indicate that some industries are hiring more quickly than others, and some companies and organizations are being a little more selective, and that's their process. It is absolutely imperative for you that you are clear and clean about what you want, what your value is, and how you're going to help them, as evident by bringing you on based on your talent and your expertise in whatever given field you're in. But when you think about finding that next job, What's coming up for you? And this could be either an internal position you're applying for or a position outside your current organization. You might be thinking of something like this. I'm scared to put myself out there. I wonder if I'm good enough. How well do my skills measure up against all of the other candidates? I don't want to be rejected. How will I deal with it when I get told, no, we're not offering you the job? What if I put all of this work into it and I have nothing to show for it? Or how about this one? What do I do when I get the offer? Overcoming fear is a natural part of a career coaching relationship because everyone has something that's holding them back from getting the results they want. I work with my coach on any fear that comes up about how I'm growing my business. It's a natural part of the process. When we grow and we stretch and we're stepping out of our comfort zone, fear wants to come in. Fear is our brain's way of protecting us. I've shared on this podcast before, our brains are defaulted to any kind of negative thinking because it just wants to protect us from harm. It doesn't want to see us get hurt. Now, look, I am not saying that we should all go and conquer our fears and walk over hot coals or walk over a bed of glass, lay on a bed of nails, or skydive out of an airplane. I'm not saying anything like that. Also, I'm not doing any of those things either. It's just not in my comfort zone, nor is it going to be. There was a time I thought about jumping out of an airplane, and then that changed. But the fear comes in because we care. We don't want to get hurt. We want to be protected. We want to make sure that anything we do is calculated, it's definitive. I completely understand the people who are interested in learning about a coach, that they might have some fear or reservations about what happens if I put all of this time in and I invest my time, money, and energy into a coaching relationship. What happens if I don't get the results I want? How likely is that? How likely is it that you're going to go into something and not get any results that you want? But our brain wants to take us to these places. So for today's episode, I want you to just keep in mind that we're thinking about how the brain processes all of these fears. And I'm going to give you some examples specifically related to your job search, but I'm going to begin with a story. Did you know I bowled on television? I did. So back in 2006, I think it was 2006, I'm going to link up to the video in the show notes in case you want to go watch it. I was on a show called Make My Day. It was a hidden camera reality show for TV Land where a particular subject got the most amazing day of his life. It was interesting how I got asked to do this because the year prior, me and two of my friends were on the game show Chain Reaction. Embassy Row was the production company that did Chain Reaction. They were also the production company behind Make My Day. It just so happened that the subject of this show, his name is John Castellano, he was an avid bowler. And so they were looking for a couple of bowlers to come in and be a part of this show. And so me and one of my best friends, Kenny, got to do the show. So of course there was this excitement about, oh my gosh, we're going to be on TV. How's this going to go? How many people are going to see it? And then my brain took me to all of these places that I thought, what the hell did I get myself into? What if I screw up? What if I blow the surprise? What if I make a mistake? What if I look like a fool on television? Once it's out there, it's never going to go away. What's going to happen? And then I had to talk myself off the ledge a little bit and pull myself back and go, okay, how realistic are all of these things? Now, if you watch the episode, but what you'll get is that it starts off at the beginning of this guy's day and something happens and he takes care of it and he gets rewarded for it. Now, John was, or maybe he still is, I don't know, a music store owner in, I think it was Long Island. And so, huge Giant fan. So, Amani Toomer from the New York Giants comes in and he gets a guitar lesson, buys some stuff. He ends up leaving his cell phone there. So, they send a limo to get John to bring it over to the bowling center where Amani is going to be because he's meeting Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos. And this is where Kenny and me come into play because we are off bowling on the other side. And the ruse is that Vinny is working on a movie and he wants John, the subject of our show, to come bowl with him. John was an avid bowler, good bowler. And before they got there, because remember, there's only one take in this. There's no do-overs because you can't spoil the surprise. So we get there in plenty of time and we're told we have to wear 2 shirts because I've got to hide the microphone under one of them. And I've got mic packs and wires up my pant leg, hoping that he's not going to see the microphone and everything. We've got cash in our pockets because the way the thing plays out is that John ends up making a strike, throwing a strike to win a certain amount of money. And we get hustled by Vinny to come in and bowl so he can have a little fun and beat these 2 guys who are, good bowlers, right? Well, the whole thing. And then on top of it all, we've got an earpiece. So we're talking to the producers and the production staff about what we're to do. Now, the funny thing was, they said to us before we had started filming, if we ask you to get 6 pins, can you get it? And our response was, well, we can miss the head pin. Whatever happens after that, we're not sure. Okay. So John comes walking into the building and now it's game on. There's hidden cameras all over the bowling center. We're being told what to do. We're just trying to be good players. We're just trying not to mess anything up. And my nervousness and my energy just went through the roof. And I thought, okay, you're into this now. You cannot get out of it. So do you. Do what you're here and what you're told to do. And there's one shot of me actually throwing a ball on TV. And of course, I missed the pocket because that's what I'm told to do. And about an hour or so later, after they got enough footage and everything had kind of played out, John leaves. Vinny takes him to Manhattan to work on a commercial or see him on a commercial. And we now have to race over there because we've got to hide out in the wings for the big reveal. It was a ton of fun. It was absolutely a ton of fun. We had a great time doing it. Obviously, it makes for a great story. But there was so much that I had to do to overcome my fear of messing up in that situation. The bowling stuff was not a problem. That was easy. It was being in a world that I was a fan of, but unfamiliar with in terms of what I had to do. Now, my friend Kenny, he's a huge TV fan. And in his work and in his bowling career, he's been a consultant for the TV show Ed, if you happen to remember that, and lots of other things that he's done. So I always joke, Kenny's a big TV guy. This wasn't a problem for him, but I just didn't want to be the one that screwed up. Well, take all of that now into your job search. There is something riding on your job search. Maybe it's a new title, more money, a chance to save a little bit more, a chance not to feel as pressured about paying your bills every month. Whatever it is, there is a story that you are telling yourself about whatever circumstance is coming up for you directly related to this job search. We all deal with fear. It's the story we tell ourselves and how we build it up in our minds about what it is that we want, what we're hoping for, and also what we don't want to happen. I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you overcome whatever fear you're having in your job search. But let's acknowledge it's not going to take it all away. but it is going to help you manage it a whole lot better. And I hope these tips help you. First thing, you have to acknowledge the fear. You can't just brush it off and say it doesn't exist. Being ignorant or dismissive about an emotion that's going on inside of you doesn't help you heal. So whatever it is that you need to do to acknowledge the fear, I invite you to do that. Maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you pull out a journal or a piece of paper and you just start writing about what has you nervous or anxious right now about your job search or your upcoming interview. Maybe you want to talk to someone about it. You have a significant other, a dear friend, a coach. You talk it over with them. But we cannot move through this process if we make like it just doesn't exist. I'm sure, like me, you love your friends. You would do anything for them. And I hope that your friends are helpful for you in situations when you come to them with a worry or a concern. There's a great commercial out there. And I say great because I remember it, but I don't remember the actual company's name. But it's basically for online counseling or online therapy. And the person on the screen is talking about their anxiety or their depression. And there's all of these pictures of videos of people who say things like, that's okay, you'll get over it. Or you need to get a dog. Or just go for a walk, you'll feel better. Get some fresh air. All right. None of those things help. They don't help because someone is immediately trying to come in and solve the problem for you. What you're really looking for is you're looking to be acknowledged and validated. I hear you. I see you. That must be difficult. I can understand how trying that is for you. That's what you want to hear in return. If you're asking for a tip or a suggestion or a solution, that's one thing. But if you come to somebody and you say, hey, I decided that I'm starting to look for a new job because things aren't great where I'm at. I'm trying to stay ahead of whatever potential layoff or reorg is coming. I'm just really nervous about the job search. You don't want someone saying to you, well, just get your resume written. You'll be fine. No, what you want to hear is, I can imagine that's pretty stressful for you. How can I help? What do you need? What are you working on? What are you doing to help you take some action and move it forward? Be clear about your feelings. They are okay. Acknowledge the fear and just sit with that for a minute. It will help you move through it as you go through your job search, as you go on that interview, as you have that networking call. Don't dismiss it. Just acknowledge the fear. The second thing is determine what is truth and what is truth. So basically, it's this. There is truth in all capital letters, and there is truth in all lowercase letters. The truth in all capital letters are the things that are factual. They're evidence-based. They are absolute. They are proven. Truth with small letters or the lowercase letters, those are the things that we build up in our mind. They're speculative. They're uncertain. But again, it's our brain's way of protecting us from any kind of harm. This may come up for you in something like, well, I looked at that job posting and I don't qualify for that job because I don't check all of those boxes. I don't have this degree or this type of certification. I haven't done this one particular thing. And you may look at it and go, I'm just not going to apply for the job. You have to decide for yourself how much of that job posting you meet? And at what point do you feel like it's a great opportunity for you to apply for that job? This comes up a lot for me when it comes to networking, when I'm working with people, especially introverts. Over the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, it's been great for introverts. They just haven't had to go anywhere. But even turning on that camera and talking to someone they don't know may be a little stressful. It might be a little uncomfortable for them. What's going to happen? Those are the things that get built up in your mind. Maybe the truth in all capital letters is, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a networking conversation today, and I'm going to show up as myself. I'm going to ask them 3 really good questions. I'm going to get to know them a little bit more. And you never know where that conversation may lead. Sometimes we connect with people and there's an instant reaction, and they're going to connect you to someone or help you in some way, shape, or form. And other times, they can't. They're just not a great networking connection for you now, but they might be down the road. Be careful of the story you tell in your mind, because if you think it, it just might be true. And it works both ways. My third tip for you is to help you create a preparation plan. If you've ever played a sport or you've worked on a particular skill or craft, you probably have heard the phrase that practice makes perfect. Well, I like to think of it differently. Really good practice is about preparation, and preparation builds competence. Competence breeds confidence. When you are getting ready to change jobs, make a move, step out of whatever position you're in and go on to something else, I want you to answer these questions for yourself. What are you good at doing? What are you not good at? Where do you need support? And who can help you with that? Take that honest self-assessment of where you are and where you want to go. And if there are gaps, if there are legitimate gaps in your career trajectory, your background, whatever that is, put a plan in place to close them. You do not have to be the perfect candidate to get that next job. You just have to be the best one that's out there. So in that preparation plan, do that self-assessment. What are you good at? What are you not good at? Where do you need support? Who can help you with that? Then the next tip here is to measure your results or track your progress. Right on the homepage of my website, if you go and you download all of the free resources for my book, Your Mid-Career GPS, obviously, I want you to buy the book. That's a great resource in and of itself. But I pulled some resources from the book that I'm offering to you for free. And one of them is a job search tracker. It's comprehensive, and it's comprehensive for a reason. You must track your results when it comes to your job search. So why is this important? Because it's not a matter of what you think you're doing. It's a matter of what you've done and when you've done it. You could be telling yourself, oh, I applied to so many jobs last week. I applied to dozens of jobs last week. And that's a story you're telling yourself and you're telling other people. The reality is you applied to 4. You might have looked at a lot of job postings, but how many did you actually apply to? Track your progress. Be honest with yourself about it. Yes, you could easily find 15 minutes somewhere in a week, given how much you've got going on, but there are times when you don't have the energy, and that is okay. As you think about your week, or even if you just think about a day, how much time could you really allocate toward that job search? If you found a job and your resume is good to go, and you've got a cover letter that you really like, it's probably not going to take you any more than 20 to 30 minutes to actually apply for that job. The key is finding it. But once you find it, it's not going to take you that long to apply for it, even if you're using the one-click apply on LinkedIn. Be aware of how much time you're willing to give yourself each day or every week to do this. I like to think in weeks because some days they just go off the rails and you're not going to be able to get as much done as you would hoped. That happens. Give yourself some grace. But give yourself a realistic but challenging target to hit each week when it comes to your job search, being how many jobs you're applying to or how many people you're connecting with or outreaching to, and then track it. Tracking it will help you clear up your mind about the results you're getting or you're not getting and help address whatever fear that you have. And lastly, get rid of any shame that you have about your fear or reservations with your job search. Shame, not a good thing. We know that. Your brain is there to protect you. It's why you have to manage it. But like I mentioned at the beginning, be careful of who you share those fears and reservations with. The people whom you trust, those are the ones you want to share it with. Share it with those who are supportive of who you are and what you're doing. You don't need to hear something like, well, just do it. You'll be fine. And the other piece to this is you can't just say to yourself, I'm just going to think positively now, and it's going to automatically get rid of it. It's not a light switch like that. It takes time. It takes time to train your brain to institute a new way of thinking or a new habit. Give yourself some grace with that as you learn. I mentioned earlier that there are two specific tools that I use when I start working with my clients one-on-one. The first is the Energy Leadership Index assessment. It's an attitudinal assessment that gives people information about how they show up when everything's going well as when they're under stress. And we define or measure energy in terms of a core thought, a core emotion, and a specific action or result. We don't talk about energy in terms of woo-woo. We scientifically define how that energy resonates and shows up for you in a variety of situations and circumstances. There's other great tools out there as well. The model from the Life Coach School, Positive Intelligence. You could also look at other assessments like DISC or Gallup Strengths Finder, which is another one that I use to help give you more information about who you are and what you do. But just be kind to yourself. Not everything has to be going at 100 miles an hour. You've heard the phrase, less is more. That is absolutely true in this. Be very specific and targeted in terms of your outreach, your applications. Have a plan, have a strategy. This is what I work with with my clients on, so that we maximize their time and efforts given all of the other things that they have going on, like a full-time job, a family, aging parents, their own health and wellness issues. There's only so many hours in the day you can give to this. So be kinder to yourself in this whole process. I guarantee you, it'll take the judgment and the shame. It'll start taking and whittling those things away. And you'll get much clearer and cleaner about the action steps that you want to take. I shared with you 5 tips today to help you overcome that fear in your job search. Quick recap. Number 1 was acknowledge the fear. Number 2 is determine the difference between truth with all capital letters and truth with all lowercase letters. Number 3 was about creating a preparation plan. Preparation builds confidence. Confidence breeds confidence. Number 4 was measuring your results. Track your progress. Hold yourself accountable to what you're doing and find a way to log it. If you need a resource for that, go to my website at johnneral.com and download your free job search tracker. right on the homepage. And then lastly, work on getting rid of any shame about your fear or reservations in your job search. That will help you show up from a much better place and come from that place of value and service where you're going to be able to help someone at a new company or organization, or even in your current one, better than you've ever done. So my friends, if you want some additional support, you are invited to join my private Facebook group called Your Mid-Career GPS. You can join a like-minded group of professionals who, just like you, are trying to figure out what's next. We have some interesting and engaging conversations in there. You can always come into that group and ask a question to get whatever help you need. And then lastly, if you are interested in doing some work and you want to work with me one-on-one, you can email me at john@johnneral.com or go to my website, johnneral.com, click on the contact tab in the upper right corner, fill out the form, and you and I will have a no-cost preliminary conversation about whether or not coaching is the right fit for you at this time. I hope you had a happy 4th of July. Enjoy summer. I will be back with you next week. But in the meantime, as I always say, my friends, remember, we build our mid-career GPSs 1 mile or 1 step at a time, and how we show up matters. Make it a great rest of your day. If you enjoyed today's show and don't want to miss an episode, follow on Apple Podcasts or wherever you usually listen. And I'd appreciate it if you would leave a rating and review. Visit johnneral.com to download your free copy of the 55-minute career transition jumpstart to help you start building your mid-career GPS. And don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn and follow me on social at John Neral Coaching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.